Hello and welcome back to Parc Fermé Parlay with Kieran Downey. We are here after the Belgian qualifying session and it's a Charles Leclerc pole position. I am ecstatic. Yes, I know he's inherited it because Max has got a 10-place grid penalty, but just let me be happy because we've not had a decent qualifying result, really, from Charles Leclerc in a while. And honestly, I really needed this. I really needed this. I feel like I can see colour again. I feel like I can hear birds chirping. The sun has come out. It's a good day. It's a good day. All I need now is for him to just retain that lead and just go on and win the race. That's all I need. But I feel like he's just going to have 19 other cars slipstream him straight up the Camel Straight, and he'll probably end up finishing about 9th. But until then, I am going to live in Delulu land, and in my mind, it's already Monday. We're doing our race review. Charles Leclerc's the winner of the Belgian Grand Prix, and all is right in the world. I wasn't sure how this qualifying would go down, to be honest with you. I didn't know whether we would have a delayed start, whether we would see much running at all, especially when the F2 sprint race was postponed and is now happening at like 6 p.m. local time. I thought we would get a quite interesting grid lineup, and it's not as interesting as I thought it would be. I think it's not too wild. I thought it would be a lot more wild. It's not that bad. So let's get into it. And in Q1, out was Zhou Guanyu P20, Logan Sargent, Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, and Nico Hülkenberg. I thought Mercedes were going to be in for a rough ride, to be honest with you. They'd kind of kept their drivers back. Everyone was reporting rain was going to come, and I thought Mercedes has screwed themselves over here. They are going to come out directly when the track is getting wetter. They're going to set their fast laps. They're not going to be fast enough. By the time they try and go again, not going to be better, and they're probably going to be out in Q1. But actually, no, I was wrong. They did quite well. Lando, Max, and Oscar were just kind of pipping each other constantly for the top spot. It was Piastri who finished Q1 fastest. He set a blinding lap at that point, to be fair, which was a 154.5. No, sorry, a 154.835. Then Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly was just chefing it up in the kitchen, and he finished Q1 second fastest. And at this point, I was like, oh, here we go. This is the craziness I expected from a wet Spa qualifying. And then it all just kind of fell into place later down the line. Hamilton was complaining he didn't have a lot of grip, and he did finish Q1 P13, so there might have been a little bit of an issue there because the track didn't exactly dry up much. Or at all really, because it rained for the rest of the session. So not really too sure what was happening there. We got a little bit of an impeding in Q1. Zhou Guanyu impeded Max Verstappen. He has been called up to the stewards at 6 o'clock local time. So at the time of recording, we don't know what the outcome of that will be, but he is going to the stewards for impeding Max Verstappen. And there was also a bit of an incident between Max and Logan, and it seemed that Max just kind of pushed Logan off the track. They were both on fast laps, and I think Max just kind of cut past him. Zhou Guanyu qualifying P20. Nothing new there, is it? Nothing new. Valtteri's obviously made it through to Q2, and do I expect teammates in the same kind of machinery to do a similar kind of result? Yes. However, I do not expect that anymore from Zhou Guanyu against Valtteri Bottas, Logan Sargent with Alex Albon, and even really Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, to be honest with you, even though Perez has had a very good qualifying. As I said, Logan Sargent out P19. Not the result he's going to be wanting because he's not going to be able to fight his way through the pack. He's just not. I would love to say that he needs to be bagging all these good results because then, you know, he might be in for a chance of a race seat next year. He's not getting a race seat next year, let's be honest with you. Yuki Tsunoda out P18. Doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, because he's taken a 60-place grid penalty, so he's starting P20 anyway. So actually, Zhou and Logan are starting P19, P18 respectively, but I mean, there was no point in Yuki doing anything better. He was starting P20. All he would have done was gotten through a load of sessions and then just stuck it in the back. So Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg, I did expect more from them. I thought they were getting a Q2, Nico maybe getting a Q3 appearance. I've got predictions that Nico Hülkenberg is going to be getting points this weekend. So hello, Nico, can you please get yourself down there? All in all, a fairly normal Q1 spa wet session. Everyone on the enters, DRS disabled, looking at like the 2-minute lap times at one point that slowly got down, looking at around the 2-minute lap times that slowly began to come down, but not much else really to talk about. There was no real moments of note. As I said, I don't know about the outcome of Zhou Guanyu. That will probably come during the F2 sprint race. And I don't fully know if the incident between Max and Logan was sent to the stewards. There was nothing reported on it, and I didn't see anything on the screen. So I'm going to say no. All right, now moving on to Q2, and out was Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Alex Albon. Part of me thinks there might still be some issues with Lance Stroll's car. He was complaining over the radio. Lance Stroll obviously crashed in FP3 and broke quite a lot of bits on his car, and from the middle of FP3 right the way through till obviously just before qualifying, they basically like stripped Lance's car apart, did a load of repair work, and then just put it all back together. So I wonder if there is still something that's not quite right on the car, because Fernando made it through to Q3 quite easily, so I would have expected Lance to be somewhere around him, but obviously not, and he's out P15. Valtteri Bottas, not surprised he's out in Q2, didn't really expect him to get through to Q3. Daniel Ricciardo, did kind of expect him. I expect Daniel and Yuki to be getting through to Q3. I don't expect them to be qualifying high in Q3, but I do expect them to be getting at least into Q3, and just obviously not the weekend for him. Ricciardo was told he was only going to be doing 2 push laps, so did that hamper him maybe? I don't think so. I just don't think he was quick, to be honest with you. And then Pierre Gasly in P12, he's devastated, and I'm actually a little bit gutted for him because he was quick, he was looking fast in Q1, and I thought, my God, he's going to get through. He's going to get into Q3. His teammate got through in P9, so I was like, here we go, perfect. Like, you know, a little bit of a redemption again for the Alpine boys, but not for Gasly. Not for Gasly. And I am beginning to wonder what actually is going on down at Alpine, because everybody's vacating and seems to be, I mean, if you're Esteban Ocon, quite happy to vacate. He's being quite critical of Alpine. It doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you, but everyone that seems to then leave that team seems to have quite strong criticisms about the team. Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, now Esteban Ocon, Otmar, the old team principal, they all have very strong opinions about the team. So I do, again, it all just leads me to believe that there is big changes, big changes coming at Alpine, and it's not just a new driver lineup and a new team principal. And it seems to be that Pierre might be the only one left in this new Alpine that seems to be coming. But here in the present, Pierre Gasly's out P12, and Alex Albon P11. Pretty good qualifying from Alex. The Williams, I don't expect to make it into Q3, to be honest, maybe a P10, but all right from Alex. As I said, he's in a good position to be able to get some points, and that's what I want from Alex Albon this weekend. I want him to at least score a couple of points, 1, 2 on a good day. All right, and Q3, and the lineup is as follows. Esteban Ocon in P10, followed by Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, and Oscar Piastri in P6. Lando Norris P5, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, and then Max Verstappen qualified P1. The track was obviously getting maybe just a little bit wetter because the timings were beginning to slow down just a little bit. And I did kind of wonder who would be taking the pole position, because obviously we knew it was never going to be Max. He was a 10-place grid penalty. He will now start 11th. But who was taking that position from him? Who was going to finish P2 and be promoted? Max was fucking flying. Oh my God, that man is an unbelievable driver. Say what you want about Max Verstappen, but you cannot deny that that man is not a tour de force when behind the steering wheel of a car. He He is Lightning McQueen. I am speed. That man knows nothing else other than just being fast. And watching him set those lap times is actually, it's such a beautiful thing to watch. It is. And there was actually at one point, I think he was coming out to set his second flying lap, which was just a bit of like a pride lap. He didn't need to go out there. He was comfortably P1. Nobody was going to take it from him. But he just, it's almost like he wants to go out there and just constantly improve. And there was the shot looking at the pit exit as you come round turn 1. And you could just see Max's car coming round. And it's almost like ominous in this like misty, grey, rainy, dull day. And then there's just this big Red Bull F1 car with Max Verstappen just coming round, getting ready to just absolutely light up the track. It is amazing to watch him race. Absolutely amazing. I did kind of wonder, coming into that second run of flying laps for Max and Checo and, well, the rest of the drivers, but Max and Checo specifically, they came out of the pits at the same time. And I kind of wondered whether Max would give Checo just a bit of a tow just to ensure that he was going to be sitting up there. If not P1, at least P2. Guarantee that he was sitting P2 so he could assume pole position. I generally thought Perez would have been on pole. They came out of the pits at the same time and I was like, okay, here we go. This could be a Max Pride lap. But in my mind, what I thought was, oh, it's going to be a little bit of a team game here because they're going to use Max to give Checo a bit of a slipstream, a bit of a tow to ensure he's going to get a really good fast lap in. But Max was not there for doing that. Max just sent it, absolutely sent it, and then just started putting so much distance in between him and Perez. Maybe it wasn't something Red Bull spoke about before going into Q3, but I kind of thought that would maybe be a conversation. Just, you know, give him that little bit of an extra helping hand and just secure a pole position. They didn't. Max set an even faster flying time, which, as I said, beautiful to watch. Perez aborted his flying lap. I think they realised that he wasn't going to improve his time at all. He was sitting P3. He would be promoted to P2. He's in a decent position to attack and assume P1 from Charles Leclerc tomorrow. So don't just come into the pits and it's fine. Did I expect a lot more from Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri? Yeah, I did, to be honest with you. I really did. I thought those two were on for a 1-2 this weekend. Genuinely thought they were on for a 1-2. I didn't think Max would be quickest. I actually thought Lando would be quickest and Oscar right behind him. Lando would just be P1. Oscar would be P2. Max would maybe be P3, P4. Max was unstoppable during those qualifying sessions, but I fully expected more from Lando and Oscar. Fully expected more. I am upset that one of my predictions is, well, two of my predictions are out the window. One was that Lando would get pole position. Two was that Lando would achieve a Grand Slam this weekend, and that's not happening. Decent work from Lewis Hamilton to get P4. Kind of expect a bit more from George Russell to be in and around there. He's starting P7. Decent work from Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, P9 and P10. The state of their cars right now, I kind of expect them to be around there. But yeah, as I said, absolutely flying work from Max Verstappen. Those timings were just incredible. But he's got a grid penalty, so off you go, and come on forward, Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, I don't know where he got that from, where he found that speed. Where did he find it? Because he didn't look like he was that quick this weekend. Ferrari played an absolute blinder with the tyres for Charles Leclerc. I think they used something like one set of softs for Q1, one set of softs for Q2, and then I think had maybe two sets for Q3, or a used and a new, and bolting on those new softs for that second run in Q3. Thank you. These are the decisions I like to see from Ferrari when they actually are using the old noggin, you know. I was a bit concerned that he wouldn't actually be able to set a flying lap because they pulled him into the pits, they changed his tyres, they gave him a bit of fuel, and I was like, he's not going to make it again. He's not going to be able to set a second flying lap, but he did, and he improved. And he was one of the only drivers that actually managed to improve on those second flying laps. Carlos Sainz didn't, and he just plopped that beautiful red Ferrari in P2 and now will be taking P1. And it's actually quite funny because he got out the car and he had no idea what he'd just done. He was just as surprised as everyone else. I was shocked. I nearly fell off the sofa. As I said, I love to see it. I love to see it. Come on, Charles. Come on, Charles. P1. P1. I don't want to hear any, oh, he inherited it. Let us live, all right? Us Ferrari fans, us Charles Leclerc fans, it's been a dark time for us, okay? It's been a little bit of a dark time. Let us bathe in the glory of Charles Leclerc starting P1 tomorrow. Do I think he'll still be leading the race at the end of the first lap? God, I hope so. I really hope so, but part of me just thinks something's coming. Do I think it's Sergio Perez? No, not really. I think it might be Lewis Hamilton. Do I think that Max Verstappen, who will start 11th, will beat his teammate tomorrow, who is starting P2? Yes, I do. I went into this weekend knowing that Max had a grid penalty, thinking that the best he would be able to finish would be P3 at best. Now, I actually think Max could win it because that man is just pure, raw speed. And as much as it seems like Sergio Perez has suddenly learned how to drive again, I don't see him finishing on the podium. Do I see him maybe getting a point or some points? Yeah, I think he might finish in the points this weekend, but by no means do I think he's on the podium. No. Carlos Sainz in PA, I did kind of expected better from Carlos, especially with Charles sticking at P2. But from what I could see when we were watching Carlos's second fast lap, he was just overdriving that car. Mad overdriving. He was pushing it to the brink and he wasn't getting the best out of it. It was not performing the way he wanted it to. It was just a bit of a messy lap from Carlos. And that is everything from a pretty mundane first couple of qualifying sessions into an absolute banger of a Q3. And I say that purely because Charles Leclerc's on pole. But the grid is set for tomorrow. Charles Leclerc, that beautiful Ferrari lining up P1 and 19 other drivers just ready for a slipstream right down the Kemmel Straight to take the lead. But anyway, we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Fingers are crossed. In fact, fingers, legs, toes, arms, everything. I am literally crossing everything for a decent result from Charles Leclerc tomorrow. Everything is getting crossed. And we shall see what happens. I'll be back tomorrow after the race. Enjoy all the cars on track. Enjoy the F2 sprint. Enjoy all the feature races, F2, F3 feature races tomorrow, and then the F1 Grand Prix. See you after that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love you. Bye.